Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. So, we're continuing with the study session of Sarartha Darshini by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura and translated into English by His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj. Okay. My humble obeisances to His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and all the Acharyas in the Sampradaya. And my humble obeisances to all of you on Zoom, on YouTube, and on Facebook. Thank you so much. One second, I'll share the screen. Okay. Now we are in Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 14. Tasmadekena manasa Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi Shrotavya Kirtiva Vyasha Dhyaye Dhyeya Pujyascha Nityada Tasmadekena manasa Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Dhyeya Pujyascha Nityada. Translation. Therefore, with mind dedicated only to bhakti, devoid of karma and jnana, one should constantly hear about, glorify, and meditate upon the Supreme Lord, the master of the devotees. Commentary. Because of this, one should worship the Supreme Lord. With the mind devoid of the desire to perform karma and jnana, ekena manasa. So, here, translation. Therefore, with mind dedicated only to bhakti, devoid of karma and jnana, one should constantly hear about, glorify, and meditate upon the Supreme Lord, the master of the devotees. So, with complete focus, they should only focus on bhakti. They should not do anything else. Like, it should be absolutely pure. It should not have a mixture of karma and jnana. Okay. One should constantly, just a moment. So you should not mix this bhakti with jnana or karma, okay? And one should constantly hear about, okay? It's not like we spend some time for Krishna, 1 hour in a day, not like that. And with the taste, we have to do that. Hare Krishna, Kritika Mataji, welcome to the group. Thank you so much. Okay, wonderful. Okay, let's start. Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay, so now this 1.2.14. So we are doing the Sarartha Darshini reading, okay? This is a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. Welcome, Daya Sindhu Prabhuji. And thank you, Krishnan Prabhuji, always prompt, Okay. So this Sarartha Darshini is a commentary of Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. This Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura is a rasa acharya. All that his commentary is full of rasa, okay? Like even you can say Rupa Goswami is also called the rasa acharya, okay? Completely like they are, when you read their commentaries, it's full of rasa, okay? So now this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam has been translated into English by His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj. He's my Siksha Guru. Okay. So now I'm just reading this book. Okay, so now we are in the first canto, in the second chapter, 14th verse. Okay, no problem. Even if it's the midst of the thing, it's just the beginning only. Na? The first canto, second chapter only. Okay, so you can understand things easily. So now I'm reading the first canto, second chapter, 14th verse. Tasmadekena manasa Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Dhyeya Pujasycha Nityada. Translation. Therefore, with mind dedicated only to bhakti, devoid of karma and jnana, one should constantly hear about, glorify, and meditate upon the Supreme Lord, the Master of the devotees. Commentary. Because of this, one should worship the Supreme Lord with the mind devoid of the desire to perform karma and jnana, ekena manasa. So what they're telling here is one should, with their mind dedicated only to bhakti, without the mixture of karma and jnana, okay? They should constantly hear about, it's not that for one particular time, just we allocate one time to hear about the Lord. It's not like that. So, of course, like all of us have a lot of Hare Krishna, Kalpana Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you for joining. So we are in the first canto, second chapter, verse 14. Okay. So here it says, one should, with the mind completely dedicated to the Lord, okay, by doing bhakti without the mixture of karma and jnana, one should constantly hear about the Lord. Okay. When we get to that stage where we develop that ruchi for the Lord, I'll tell you the different stages of bhakti. Okay. We will go through Madhurya Kadamni. So after today's class, tomorrow, I will take the session on Madhurya Kadamni, because to understand things better, like, for today's class, if you want to understand properly, I will explain that tomorrow in Madhurya Kadambini. It's a book that's also been, that's also Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura has composed that and translated by His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj. It describes it delineates the stages in the devotional progress of a sadhaka from Shraddha to Prema. Okay, that is from faith to the goal, Prema for Radha Krishna. Okay, when we attain them, the Lord. So, but today I will just continue with Sarartha Darshini. Okay. So without the mixture of karma and jnana, karma means, like, in case we are like, having somebody at home, the elders, like, we do the Pitrus Shraddha ceremony, or some other basically karma kanda ceremonies, like, we also do that. Okay. Most of the devotees, in spite of having so much of knowledge about bhakti, the exposure to so much of bhakti, still they are doing all this karma samskaras and all the karmic. Okay. But if they're doing this without faith in them, but just to satisfy the family members or to satisfy the society, if they do that, like we saw in yesterday's class, this has been explained. So if you do it just for the sake of pleasing others, okay, satisfying the others without faith in that by ourselves, then that is okay. That is not nothing wrong. But if we feel, oh, if I don't do those ceremonies, we will incur sin, so we have to do that. That means you're not having faith in bhakti. Okay, so that is a mixture of karma. Jnana means speculative knowledge. Okay, the jnana. So that also we are not mixing. Okay, we are doing pure bhakti. Okay, with faith to the in the Supreme Lord. And what should we do? We should constantly, that is the abhideya, the process, we should constantly hear about, and we glorify, and we have to talk about the Lord. We have to appreciate the Lord's name, his qualities, his pastimes, and everything. And we should meditate upon the Supreme Lord, the master of the devotees. Now you're listening to the class. I am talking in the class. Of course, I am also hearing from somebody, and I'm reading, and I'm just chanting about the Lord's glories to you people now. So, and then what you people will do now, what I did was I was meditating. I'm meditating on what I'm hearing. Similarly, now you are hearing, and if you hear and if you leave off, we will forget. So the best way is to tell somebody. Okay, preaching, once you get enough knowledge, then you tell somebody. So that way, when we teach others, we become very, like, really steady in that knowledge. And also, we need to meditate on that Supreme Lord. What we hear now, we need to think of that. We need to meditate on that. Then that is the way, that's the process of bhakti. Okay. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, like that it goes. Okay. The nine methods of bhakti. Okay. Navavidha bhakti. Of course, there are various processes. Like I'm just giving an example. Okay. So, commentary. Because of this, one should worship the Supreme Lord with the mind devoid of the desire to perform karma and jnana, ekena manasa, with full focus. We should only um, do bhakti, pure bhakti, kevala bhakti. Okay. Text 1.2.15. Anybody has any doubt, you can always stop and ask me. Okay. 1.2.15 now. यद अनुध्यासिना युक्ता कर्म ग्रंथि निबंधनम चिंदन्ति को विदास्तस्य को न कुर्यात् कथारतिम. Translation. Who will not develop attraction for topics of the Lord, remembrance of whom like a sword will cut the knots of karma. Commentary. The qualification for bhakti is faith in topics of the Lord. This is illustrated in the following verses. तावत् कर्माणि कुर्वीत न निर्विद्येत यावता मत्कथा श्रवणादौ वा श्रद्धा यावन्न jayate. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and does not awaken this taste for devotional service by Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23, one has to act according to the regulative principles of the Vedic injunctions. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20.9. This we saw yesterday also, okay? In the other verse also, something similar to this. Shraddhalur mat katha, Shrinvan Subhadra Loka Pavani, Gayan Anush Smaran Karma, Janma Chabhinayan Muhu, Mad Arthe Dharma, Kamarthan, Kamarthan Acharan Mad Apashraya, Apashraya, Labhate Nishalam Bhaktin, Mai Uddhava Sanatane. A person with natural faith should constantly hear topics about me, should sing and remember my topics which purify the world and enact my exploits and birth. He should perform dharma, kama, and artha as service to me. Having taken shelter of me, he will attain permanent bhakti to me, whose form is permanent. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.11.23 to 24. Don't worry, I'll explain everything. First, I'm reading the verse. Jata Shraddho Mat Kathasu Nirvinna Sarva Karmasu Veda Dukkhatmakan Kaman Parityagepi Anishwarai Shwara Tato Bhajeta Mam Prita Shraddhalu Dridha Nishaya Chushamanashchatan Kaman Dukkhodara Kamsha Garhayan. Having developed faith in topics about me and being disgusted with all karmas, he knows that all enjoyments are filled with misery. But he is unable to give them up. Still with affection for me, with faith and determination, he will continue worshipping me at the same time. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20.27 to 28. How does that faith arise? This verse answers remembrance of the Lord. See, this more elaboration I will tell you tomorrow in while reading Madhurya Kadamni. Okay, that Madhurya Kadamni, because it's very relevant with today's class, whatever I'm taking. Okay, so if I take that tomorrow, you'll become more clear. So today you just listen to this. How does this faith arise? This verse answers remembrance of the Lord is like a sword. Equipped with the sword, Asina, persons cut the bondage caused by the knot of false ego, which ties one up with karma. Or another meaning is as follows. People tie up small amounts of money in knots of their clothing for the purpose of daily eating by dividing up their savings and spending a little each day. This knot of money for enjoyment is compared to the karmas allotted in this life for enjoyment. Thus, the sword of remembering the Lord cuts this knot of prarabdha karma. Who will not have attraction for topics concerning the Lord, whose remembrance cuts the knots of karma? Attraction for those topics arises suddenly in all people before having faith. The verse indicates that a person who's more qualified, who has faith, will be even more attracted. Okay. So, translation: who will not develop attraction for the topics of the Lord, remembrance of whom, like a sword, will cut the knots of karma? So, they're telling the topics of the Lord are so are just like nectar. And who is this foolish person who doesn't want to hear these topics? Okay, who doesn't get attracted to these topics and develop attraction for these topics of the Lord and remembrance of whom, like a sword. So by hearing these topics and remembering the Lord, it is like a sword which will cut the knots of karma. Okay. Commentary. Now they're telling what is this. The qualification for bhakti is faith in topics of the Lord. So this is illustrated in the following verses. So what is the qualification for bhakti? To do bhakti, it is we should have faith in the topics of the Lord. So as long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity, so as long as the people are complete, still they want how much ever they do, they get, they're not at all satisfied. They want more and more and more of material enjoyment and material things, acquire material things, okay, like that. So, and does not awaken his taste for devotional service by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, etc. So, and he has not awakened. Okay, there are many people, like all of us are very fortunate, at least we have come to this level. But there are many people, they're so much engrossed in the material activities, they don't even know there's a person called Krishna. Okay, then what a sad state, their state. Like, many of the Western countries, at least in India, at least they have heard the name Krishna. Most of them know Krishna. At least whoever don't know, at least they would have heard the name Krishna. Okay, or at least they worship some demigod. They're in a better situation because in most of the Western countries, people don't even know who Krishna is. When Srila Prabhupada, who's the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, when he went abroad and he was trying to tell the people there, they were asking, who's this Krishna? Who is this girl who's with Krishna on the cover of the book in Krishna book that Prabhupada wrote, like, in that book, there's Radha and Krishna. So seeing that, one person asked, who is this girl standing with Krishna? So Prabhupada had to explain that it's Radha and all that. At least we are in a better position than them. Okay. So that is a very, very sad state, like, very, very dangerous situation. Okay. So that is why they're telling all the devotees need to do very serious preaching, because we need to be compassionate to others. Whatever we hear, we have to tell others. Okay, even if it is very little and it's very simple also, it doesn't matter. It need not be very a high philosophy. Okay, yesterday also Bhanu Maharaj was telling in the class, it's even yesterday or day before yesterday, it doesn't matter. He was telling, like, even if you're not going to tell very high level, like, not be very great philosophy and all, just ordinary terms also, something you tell others. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, whomever you meet, whether you are a grihastha or a sannyasi or whatever, whether you live in the house or a forest, no problem. Whomever you meet, you just talk about Krishna. So even simple terms, you can say Krishna is blue in color. He has a curly hair. Okay, like that. He has blue eyes. He wears a shark earrings, like that. Okay, something beautiful. Like they need to get attracted to Krishna. That's all. Okay. So and his pastimes, you can tell small stories also. So by hearing, by Shravanam, by Kirtanam, there are many types of Kirtan. One is we are doing this Japa Nam, Hare Nam Sankirtan, like, we do the Japa slowly. We just tell to ourselves the name of Krishna, Krishna, Radha, all that. Okay. Because Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all of you know what it is, but one day I will explain that also. Okay. So That is, one is Nama Japa, another is congregational chanting. We chant with the devotees, we do the Kirtan. And Guna Kirtan is we are glorifying now what I'm doing, like, what we are doing, like, we are discussing about the Lord. So it's Guna Kirtan. Okay. Leela Kirtan means pastimes of the Lord. Qualities of the Lord is Guna Kirtan. Pastimes of the Lord is Leela Kirtan. So there are various kinds of Kirtan. Okay. So we have to first of all hear. This process starts with hearing, proper attentive hearing. Okay. With that, easily Krishna comes and gets into our heart. He gets imprisoned in our heart. Okay. So because Krishna is attracted to us because we are interested in listening to him. So immediately Krishna takes interest in us. So Krishna is partial to his devotees. Okay. You cannot blame Krishna if he's partial to devotees because that's a good quality. Okay. He wants to protect the devotees. All that we will see. Okay. Later on tomorrow in Madhurya Kadamni. Okay. So one has to act according to the regulative principles of the Vedic injunctions. So what should they do? As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and does not awaken his taste for devotional service by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, okay, then he has to, so he has not developed any interest for the bhakti, okay, process of bhakti. Then in that case, he should do at least the Varnashrama Dharma, okay. So if you don't do anything, then there's total chaos. What will you follow? Nobody will follow anything and there'll be total chaos in the society and everybody will do anything they want. They can rob anybody, they can do anything with anybody. Who's to question? Nothing will happen. Okay. There needs to be some order. So we should either do bhakti. If you're not doing bhakti, then you should either follow the Varnashrama Dharma. Okay. A person with natural faith should constantly hear topics about me, should sing and remember my topics which purify the world and enact my exploits and birth. So, with natural faith, because what is our Swadharma? We are eternal servants of Krishna. Okay. Actually, dharma means it's a natural state of the jiva. Okay, you don't get too much confused with that other dharma and all that. That okay, that dharma is all there, which are all artificial things. But the real dharma of a jiva is to do sadhana bhakti for to the Lord and attain prema bhakti. The goal, okay, goal of the jiva is to attain prema for the Lord. That is the goal. So and attain prema bhakti for the Lord. So this is a natural faith because it's a natural state of the jiva in its pure state. But because we are covered by the contamination of the material world, okay, because we have been here for billions and billions and billions of years, so we are continuously being in material bondage. So we are acquiring all this material contamination. That's why we are getting different body coverings like the subtle and the gross body according to our karmas. Okay. So we are so fortunate. We did so much of good karma. We have got the human form, which is the highest of the 84. Of course, there are the devatas and all that. Okay. So one of the best thing to attain is the human form. Okay. So even devatas also want to be take the human forms in the earth, like that scriptures say. So how fortunate we are, because only in the human form of life you can do bhakti to the Lord and attain the Lord. Okay. So it is so precious because there are so many 84 lakh species. Imagine the pig, the snake, the tree, whatever, all the lower species and the higher species also you keep. But doesn't matter, whoever it is, human being is the his state is the best to attain bhakti. That's what the scriptures tell. When we read the other scriptures, you will understand that. So why should we waste this human form? Because we are ignorant, we are wasting it. We are always engrossed like donkey. What this donkey does, it works very hard, it takes the load, so much of load, works the entire day. Finally, the owner, he gives him a little bit of grass. That stupid donkey, it can eat that grass anywhere, but it is thinking only the owner of the donkey can give that. So it is like uselessly carrying so much of burden like that. Even we are carrying so much of material burden and we are thinking this family belongs to us. Actually, nothing belongs to us. We are all temporary, and all the people who are associating the family members are also temporary. It doesn't mean that we have to simply give up the renounce our family members. It's not like that, but we should know what is what, and then we have to be in a slightly detached manner and we should focus on the bhakti because we already have a family. We need to do the family like responsibilities also, but detached manner, in a detached manner, okay? Not too detached, but in a like, okay, because we have to do it, we have to do it, okay? So, and then we have to seriously do bhakti. That is the primary aspect. The family and all is secondary aspect, okay? Eventually we'll do that. Of course, now we cannot suddenly do that, but eventually when we go higher and higher and advanced in bhakti, then we will slowly, everything becomes secondary and bhakti becomes primary. Okay. So a person with natural faith should constantly hear topics about me. So when we become more and more advanced, we will develop that ruchi, the state of ruchi. As I told you, tomorrow I'll tell the different stages of bhakti. So when we reach that ruchi state, we will have the natural taste that like naturally we get attracted to those topics, okay, of the Lord. And we should sing and remember my Lord says you should sing and remember my topics which purify the world. So, what is dharma? Why there is so much adharma in this world? Because people are all sinful. Okay, it's not because of lack of any material things, resources. All the natural resources are there. Even if it's all gone, also, the Lord can always replenish it. It's not because of the lack. Prabhupada always says, no, it's not because of the lack of resources that people are going hungry. It is because of the sinful activities that we are doing. Okay. So, dharma is simply if we don't do any sinful activities and if we do bhakti to the Lord, everything is wonderful. Like, there's full of everything is wonderful in this world. There is no suffering for anybody at all. Okay. So, and you should perform dharma kama. So this will purify the world. By doing bhakti, we are purifying the Lord. Okay? We are purifying the world and enact my exploits and birth. So we should know about the pastimes of the Lord, his birth, his activities, everything. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, so he says, whoever knows my birth and all the as other activities, he has attained me. Okay, he's purified. So he should perform dharma, kama, and artha, service to me. So all these things we should not do as a separate aspect of karma kanda. Everything you want to do, do it for the Lord, he says. Do it for me. Having taken shelter of me, he will attain permanent bhakti to me, whose form is permanent. So, once we take shelter of the Lord, he will attain permanent bhakti to me. Okay. Whose form is permanent. So we will attain the Lord Krishna and then we will be absolutely permanently, we will be doing bhakti to the Lord. It's not like that because we are doing sadhana now and we are doing the abhideya, the process. And once we attain prema for the Lord, it's not that we are giving up bhakti just like the jnanis and all. They are just giving up their processes. Not like that. Not like the yogis and the jnanis, we are not giving up our process of bhakti. It continues even when we attain the Lord. What is the thing that we need to do in bhakti? We are serving the Lord. So it is even more easier in the material world with the material bodies. There are many obstacles. Okay. But once you attain that your own spiritual body is formed in the prema, it starts at the bhava stage and it is completely manifest in the prema stage. At that stage, you will have a body like the Lord. But of course, if you are in a gopi bhava, then you will have a gopi body. Means like that. Okay. Manjari bodies. So that will be female body. Of course, it will not be like Krishna, but those who are like Sakya Rasa or Vatsalya Rasa, the fathers, all those people, they will have a body just like Krishna. Okay. So otherwise they will have body like the gopis. Okay. So means that is they have spiritual bodies. Like if we want to associate with a premier, with a prime minister or somebody, an ordinary person, I can't go and associate with the prime minister just like that. I need to be qualified to interact with the prime minister. Okay. So for that, I need to have so many qualifications. Only then they'll allow me to talk to the prime minister. Okay. Similarly, to associate directly with Krishna, we need to be purified and we need to have a body just like the Lord. Okay. Okay, having taken that's what, so he will attain permanent bhakti to me, whose form is permanent. Then in that body, we can serve the Lord. Okay, and his associates. And it is permanent. Okay. Having developed faith in topics about me and being disgusted with all karmas, he knows that all enjoyments are filled with misery. So now the person is developing faith in the topics of the Lord, and at the same time, he's getting disgusted with all karmas. Okay. He knows that, see, I was usually I like to listen to some old songs or some of especially I told you already, a little bit of Shah Rukh songs, if I want to relax. Nowadays I'm trying to listen. I'm not at all getting any interest at all. That Ruchi, I'm saying, what happened, why am I losing interest in this? Let me relax for a while, let me listen. But I'm just going off to, I like that MS Subbulakshmi's Kurayondrumillai, and that other songs from Meera, Katrinile, that song, I just don't want to do all that. That Katrinile, that Varun Geetham, that song. Then Vrindavanatil, that song, all these are still, I am having the interest. Means I'm not doing anything artificially. I can hear that, but I can't hear these other material songs. Some kind of a disgust is coming. This is natural. I didn't do that. Then I'm thinking, why this is happening? Why this is happening? Okay, it's because of this bhakti. The bhakti songs and the things are all evergreen. We do that every day. We sing bhakti songs, bhakti kirtana. But every day we're thinking, when will we go to Mangalarti? When will we go to Darshanarti? When will we sing this? When will we do that? And any festivities, all nice kirtans. When will we do that? Every day you do that also, you're not getting irritated. In fact, you just want to do that. But these material songs, they're all we are getting disgusted. Okay. So at the same time you develop bhakti, the same time you get you get disgusted with all the karmas. He knows that all enjoyments are filled with misery. So we know that anything we do in this karmic, karma or these things, they're causing misery somewhere or the other, So eventually it will only lead to misery. But he's unable to give them up. He knows. Excuse me. What happened? You people are
We can hear you, Mataji.
suddenly I got a message okay. So now your default microphone has changed to okay. Now again it's come off. This message has to go. Yeah. So having developed faith in topics about me and being discussed, Kalpana Mataji, just remind me if 5 minutes ahead. Okay. 7:20.
Okay, Mataji.
30 also. Sorry for the trouble because you are always doing that. Very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So
it's my pleasure.
So now, having developed faith in topics about me and being disgusted with all karmas, he knows that all enjoyments are filled with misery. Okay, so we know that. So we have got that much knowledge. We are also getting disgusted, but still we're not able to give them up completely. Okay, still I want to go and get this. I want to get this bag. I want to get this dress. Still we're not able to give up on those things, but he's unable to give them up. Still with affection for me, he's having affection for the Lord with faith and determination. Still he's doing bhakti. He will continue worshiping me at the same time. Okay. In spite of these material attractions, even in spite of the knowledge, we are not able to give up these material things immediately. Okay. But still we are doing with faith and determination. We are continuing bhakti to the Lord. We are worshiping the Lord at the same time. See, all of you now have so much of work in spite of being Dasara, especially today is an even more important day. All of you have still come for the class. Okay. That shows your determination and faith. This is what is explained. This everybody cannot do that. Okay. So he will continue worshipping me. They will give up. Okay, that is the Komala Shraddha. I will explain this during Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu. That is the nectar of devotion. The Madhyama devotees only, they have this faith. And the Uttama devotees, very strong faith. Okay. So because of that faith and determination, he will continue worshipping me at the same time. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20.27 to 28. How does that faith arise? So now how does this faith arise is the question. This verse answers this verse answers. Remembrance of the Lord is like a sword. So when you remember the Lord, it's like a sword. Of course, we are so much entangled material activities. At least for some time, we are sitting and listening to the Lord. Okay. Or when we chant about the Lord. At that time, because most of them, what they do while chanting, they're simply chanting. So if you keep on chanting without um, knowledge of how to chant, you can chant for many kalpas. Means billions and billions of years. You will not attain the Lord. To attain the Lord, you need to get knowledge of the Lord. That is why so many scriptures are there. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ask his disciples to write the scriptures? Because to gain, we should gain knowledge. Okay. Even before creation, before the creation of the material universe, what did the Lord do? He gave the scriptures. Okay. Why? He gave all the scriptures, jnana scriptures, karma scriptures, bhakti scriptures, all the scriptures. According to the qualification of the jiva, let them gain the knowledge. Okay. And then they can live. And according to the qualification, they can utilize the scriptures. So, knowledge. What is the point of having scriptures? To have knowledge. So, how does that faith arise? So, if you want to do properly chanting, you need to have knowledge. Without knowledge, you cannot attain the Lord at all. That is why we are reading the scriptures. Okay. All the fortunate souls. How does that faith arise? This verse answers. So, to worship the Lord, we need to have faith, Shraddha. It is the qualification for doing bhakti. So, how does that arise? This verse answers. Remembrance of the Lord is like a sword. So it is like a sword, okay? Equipped with that sword, Asina, persons cut the bondage caused by the knot of false ego which ties one up with karma. So with that knowledge, using the sword of knowledge, we are cutting the material bondage. Why we are in material bondage? Because of this false ego. It's very tough to give up this false ego. However I do, I'm thinking, who is this person to come and tell me this? Why is he causing this problem to me? Okay, if advanced devotees, we know it's because of our karma. This person is not coming from nowhere. He's coming because I have done something. Okay, I have done something materially. I've done some aparad. I've done some sin. That's why all these obstacles are coming to me. When will you have this knowledge? When will you gain this knowledge? By reading the scriptures and hearing the scriptures from a bona fide sampradaya, the devotee from a bona fide sampradaya, from the bona fide scriptures. Okay. So when we have this sword, okay, of knowledge, then we cut the bondage caused by the knot of false ego. All the problems are caused mainly because of this false ego. Okay. Our real ego is our natural, our spirit soul. Okay. That I am this. That we need to have that. Okay. The jiva, our false ego, because all the jivas are unique. So everybody should have their ego. But the problem is with this false ego, it is not our natural state. We are identifying with the material body, material covering, which is because of the karma we have got this material bodies. Okay. Sometimes in a human form, sometimes in a animal form, sometimes in a tree form, sometimes in a devata form, any form, all of them are jivas only. Okay. So according to our karmas, these outer material coverings are happening. So we are thinking we are this outer material covering. That is where the problem starts. Now I'm reading, I'm telling you all these things. Because of this knowledge, at least I'm in a better state now. Uh, Earlier, when I was new to bhakti, if anybody says something, I'll just tell them. I just need to retort, like, now that is reduced. Okay. Still, I'm not saying I'm 100% fine. And sometimes I still get depressed and sometimes I like, it happens like, that is because of the false ego, because I am thinking I'm this material body. If we are doing, I was reading the other day, Taittiriya Upanishad, it clearly says a person who is completely immersed in the topics of the Lord, he has nothing to fear because, okay, that is the thing. Because we are not immersed in the topics of the Lord, we are associating with this. Our purity is getting lost because we are completely associating with this material body, which ties one up with karma. Or another meaning is as follows. People tie up small, okay, if you don't understand everything at the first go, no problem. Keep on hearing. In spite of that, any doubt, you can always ask. But if you keep on hearing, but you people are doing really great. Even for the beginning, all of you are such wonderful, okay, devotees. And I'm getting so much motivation from all of you. Thank you so much. People tie up small. So now he's giving another meaning is as follows. Now he's giving another meaning, simple way, so that we can understand how sweet these acharyas are. Okay, they're so merciful. Now the example is people tie up especially in the older days, like, even my mom also used to do that, like, any money, like or even grandmothers, forget about my mom, not my mom, my grandmothers, like, in the olden days, they tie some money to the end of the sari, like, mudichi, like that, they poduvanga like that. So people tie up small amounts of money in knots of their clothing for the purpose of day, not for eating and all that. Simply like tying, like, I used to see those people and all, like something they put in the, like, tie up like that. So people tie up small amounts of money in knots of their clothing for the purpose of daily eating by dividing up their savings and spending a little each day. So like you see some poor people and all that, what they do, they tie up some money in their clothing. Okay, at the end, I told, end of the sari, or if it's a man, like, in his what he will wear now, in that the end of that cloth, they'll tie up, like, some money, and they will use up in the clothing for the purpose of daily eating by dividing up the savings and spending a little each day. Okay, so they, whatever they tie up, they, you, every day they spend that money for eating. They spend a little bit every day. This knot of money for enjoyment is compared to the karmas allotted in this life for enjoyment. So this knot of money for enjoyment, there the food is enjoyment. Okay, so this knot of money for enjoyment is compared to the karmas allotted in this life for enjoyment. So they're using that money little by little for every day, no, like that our karmas, they are there for billions of years now. So for this lifetime you can only spend this much of karmas. Okay, next lifetime, then the karmas are anadi, it is beginningless, but it can have an end. Okay, that's why they used to say, the saying, vidiyai madhiyal vellalam. I think all of you are Tamilians, no problem. So I'm using this proverb. I'm not so expert in Tamil, but something I know I'm telling. So with your intelligence, you can overcome your karmas. Okay. So that is how, by knowledge, okay, of the scriptures. So, and so continuously next year, life after life after life, we are in material bondage. So in one lifetime, you can only spend this much of karmas. Okay. So again, next lifetime, the remaining karmas. So if you are completely, if you're worshipping the Supreme Lord continuously, or you get rid of all these karmas, and we should be careful not to do any offenses. If we do the offenses will go until the bhava stage. Okay. Even in bhava stage also, we can fall down. So we should be very careful. All of you are wonderful devotees. Don't do any offenses. Okay. And just be very careful, and that's why you start reading the scriptures and hear the scriptures, then we'll be very careful. So then we can very, very easily, these stages, like, in bhakti, I'm telling now, these stages very quickly, like, bhajana kriya, anata nivritti, nishta, ruchi, asakti, bhava, prema, easily you can just like that, you can go fast. If you are doing aparadh, it will be very, 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 very slow, and sometimes even the bhakti is completely gone. Okay, then what happens? Again, you have to get the faith in bhakti. For that, it will take again billions and billions of years. Again, it has to start all the agyata sukriti. You have to start, the devotees have to give us mercy again. Then when all this mercy accumulates, then only you can get faith. So that is why we should not get out of this bhakti, because after so many lifetimes, after billions and billions of lifetimes of accumulation of this mercy, agyata sukriti, by other compassionate devotees, we are now doing bhakti. So if we do offenses, this completely, we will go to a lower stage, okay, from the higher stage. Suppose you are in bhava, you might go to asakti, or you might go even below, okay, nishta, or you can go lower also, or you can even be completely cut off from bhakti. Okay, so this is the bhagyavan, the fortunate jivas are able to do bhakti. Okay, so with the mercy of so many devotees, we have got this mercy of doing bhakti. So let us be very careful, not do any aparadhs, or okay, and let us, in that case, this knot of money for enjoyment is compared to the karmas allotted in this life for enjoyment. So we are enjoying, okay, the whatever this material life. Thus, the sword of remembering the Lord cuts this knot of prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma means whatever karmas are there allotted for this lifetime. Aprarabdha karma is for the next lifetime. Okay, we will do, we will be having those karmas in the next lifetime. Prarabdha means the current lifetime. Okay, the karmas for the current lifetime. So by remembering the Lord, it cuts off the prarabdha karma. Okay. Okay. Thus the sword of remembering the Lord cuts this knot of prarabdha karma. So that is why the famous saying in the Bhagavatam, it says, even a chandala, Who's a Chandala? Dog eater. By his prarabdha karma, he's supposed to be a Chandala, a low class dog eater. But if he's doing bhakti, even once purely chanting the holy name of the Lord, okay, by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra only once purely without any offenses, he is more qualified than a Brahmana. He can also do sacrifices, of course. Okay. So this is what the Bhagavatam says. So if it is so great, bhakti is so great, we only need to have that faith in the Lord, in the process of bhakti. Then we can easily attain the Lord. Who will not have attraction for topics concerning the Lord? Whose remembrance cuts the knots of karma? Okay, so which fool will not have attraction for the topics of the Lord and will not get attracted to the Lord? Whose remembrance, by thinking of the Lord, all our karmas are cut off. Attraction for those topics arises suddenly in all people before having faith. So even before faith arises, we get attracted to those topics. Okay, every time, like even as kids, like they watch this cartoon Krishna cartoon and all that, they get attracted to the to Krishna. Okay, they say, ah, it's so sweet, like his activities are so sweet, so they discuss like that. So even they're not having faith in the Lord, but at least they're first attracted to the Lord Krishna. So, attraction for those topics arises suddenly in all people before having faith. The verse indicates that a person who's more qualified, who has faith, will be even more attracted. But now we are getting more attracted than those ordinary people. So, that case, we are more qualified. That's why we are getting more attracted and we are listening to this Sarartha Darshini now. Okay. So, I'll continue with the next one. Any doubts you can ask. Okay. If no doubts, I'll continue. It's not that I'm stopping you from asking. If you have, automatically, you can always stop me anytime. Text 1.2.16. Shushusho Shraddadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punyatita Nishevanat. Translation: O Brahmanas, attraction for topics concerning Krishna will arise by service to the great devotees, followed by faith, by surrender to the feet of the pure Guru, and by the desire to hear. Commentary: here our attraction for topics of the Lord arises. It arises by service to the great devotees, caused by the good fortune of mercy of those great devotees. By that one develops faith. Shraddadhanasya. By faith, one takes shelter of the feet of pure Guru, Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. According to Amarakosha, Tirtha means water worshipped by sages, Guru, path, and cause. Being eager to hear those topics, Shushusho, he develops taste for those topics. So now it says, O Brahmanas, attraction for topics concerning Krishna will arise how? By doing service to the great devotees. That's how Narada got faith in the Supreme Lord. Of course, Narada is a Shaktavash avatar, but when he came, like, when he was born as a very low, in a very low class family, as a son of a maid servant, when we go to Bhagavatam, we will understand all this. Uh, of course, here also all this will come. Okay, this is a commentary on the Bhagavatam only. So, attraction for topics because his mother was a maid servant in those days, like Chaturmasya. Now we are in the third Chaturmasya. There is a 4 months, okay, of the Chaturmasya when it usually rains. Okay, at that time, these great sages, these great saints, and all that devotees, what they do, they travel from one place to the other. They spread mercy to all the people, like they are spreading the glories of the Lord so that people get attracted to the topics of the Lord. They come and listen and they do service to those devotees. They get food to the devotees. They keep them in their houses because it's rainy season. Usually they stay in any of these devotees' houses wherever they're traveling, and so they serve them food, prasadam. They take care of all their needs. Like it's not a very great expenditure or something because they're already sadhus. It's simple thing only, but doing that simple thing itself is the greatest thing you do. Bhakti is the simplest thing. We don't have to, like even if you don't have any money, no problem. You just glorify the devotees enough. You glorify the Lord with Hare Krishna mantra enough. That's much. Bhakti is as simple. If you have money, then no problem. According to your capacity, you can always serve the Lord. Okay, serve the devotees. So O Brahmanas, so attraction for topics concerning Krishna will arise by service to the great devotees. So Narada, his mother, was a maid servant, so she was taking care of these. She was washing their plates and vessels and taking care of various needs. Okay, and they used to leave their food like a that what after the remnants of the food, like his mother used to give to Narada also. So by eating that remnants of the food, the Mahaprasad, and by hearing, because he was always there and he was listening, they were always, what do the sadhus do? Their main job is preaching. So you should not estimate a sadhu by his looks, okay? He might look very simple, he might look very horrible looking also. No problem. It is you can evaluate a sage only when he by hearing the topics of the Lord, okay? When he opens his mouth, it is completely nectar because it is glorifying the Lord. So a sadhu should be seen by the ears, not by the eyes. Okay, so so and that's how Narada he attained is supreme position as Narada. Okay. So, like that, attraction for topics concerning Krishna will arise by service to great devotees, followed by faith, by surrender to the feet of the pure Guru, and by the desire to hear. So, without Guru, we can not gain any knowledge. Okay. So, we need to have a Guru. It can be Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru, or it can be only Siksha Guru. Okay. Or it can be many Siksha Gurus because Diksha Guru is only one. All these details will go later. Siksha Gurus can be many, but you will have a principal Siksha Guru, okay? The main Siksha Guru. And they're all Siksha Gurus because they're imparting Siksha to you, knowledge of the Lord. Commentary. Here our attraction for topics of the Lord arises. It arises by service to great devotees caused by good fortune of mercy of those great devotees. They have to give you an opportunity to serve them, right? They are very compassionate. It's not that they want service, but giving you service, to serve them. They're compassionate to us, okay? By that one develops faith because we are serving them, we are developing faith, okay? By faith, one takes shelter of the feet of the pure Guru. So it's interconnected, okay? So by faith, one takes shelter of the feet of pure Guru. So in that, after that, we develop faith in the Guru and we take shelter of the feet of the pure Guru. Punya Tirtha Nishevanath. So they're calling the Guru as the Punya Tirtha Nishevanath. So Amarakosha is a Sanskrit dictionary. According to Amarakosha, Tirtha means water worshipped by sages. Okay. I already told you these dictionaries give way Nanarthas. So the different meanings are Tirtha means water worshipped by sages. Also, it means guru, path, and cause. Okay, these are the various meanings. So being eager to, according to the context, we have to take the meaning. And according the acharyas have simplified and they themselves have given us, so we don't have to take that much trouble also. Because we don't have to speculate, everything is already there. Being eager to hear those topics to show, he develops taste for those topics. So then we are getting eager to hear those topics and he develops taste for those topics. Okay. Text. Still, there are 13 minutes. I'll proceed further. It got so quickly. 1.2.17 Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Shridyantastohe Abhadrani Vidhunoti Suhrutsatam. Translation. Krishna, who purifies by the processes of hearing and chanting, who is the benefactor of the devotees who hear about him, enters the hearts of the devotees and destroys their sins. Commentary. Then from hearing with taste, one begins to hear and chant. Then Krishna, being situated within, destroys the sins abhadram in the heart. Krishna, being situated within, refers to the process of smaranam, remembering. So, Krishna, who purifies the processes, purifies by the process of hearing and chanting. So he purifies us when we hear about Krishna and when we chant about Krishna, who is the benefactor of the devotees who hear about him. So Krishna is naturally attracted to those kind of devotees and he wants to help them. He wants to benefit those devotees. And so he enters the hearts of the devotees and destroys their sins. Now, Paramatma is usually in the hearts. Now, Krishna is replacing, Bhagwan is replacing Paramatma. Directly, Krishna is taking charge of his devotees, okay, and is destroying their sins. That's why once, even if you pay obeisances to the Lord, all our sins are gone. Means so simple. Bhakti is so simple. Just hear about the Lord, chant about the Lord, pay obeisances to the Lord, think of the Lord. All our karmas are gone. This is not the case with the offenses. Okay, we have to be very careful. Commentary. In the beginning, when we are coming with sins only because we are not doing bhakti. We are no offenses at all. But after starting with bhakti, we might start offenses. Okay, start doing offenses. That's why in the beginning itself, it's better to have some knowledge so that we will be tolerant, we'll be humble, and we whatever needed, and we'll say, okay, whatever you do, you do. I will try my best and be patient. I'll be humble. I'll in that place we are very safe. Like we are on the ground. Where can people push us? We are in the lowest level, people can't do anything. So if you take that attitude, only with that attitude we can do Hare Krishna mantra continuously, Sada Hari. Okay, so when you read the Sikshashtakam, I'll explain that. So uh, commentary. So that's what, if we are like, I was just, as I said, like I'm a fan of this Ratan Tata, another queen of some uh, place, like, she, anyway. So, this, what do you call this? Yeah. So this lady, she was telling Ratan Tata, he when goes to her house and he says, "Wow, wonderful house you have, such high ceilings with the wooden panels and all that." And when he sits with her husband and all that, he doesn't discuss any business at all. He keeps talking about the dog. He talks to the dog like that, and he says, "What do we have to prove to anything to anybody? We all try to, like, put on self defense, and we say we are this, we are that, whatever, when we go meet people." Okay, but all that is not needed. Once we start doing pure bhakti, we become absolutely chilled out. Like, we don't have to prove anything to anybody. Just be ourselves. Okay. Means really humble, not needed. Okay. Commentary. So then from hearing with taste, one begins to hear and chant. Then Krishna being situated within destroys the sins, abhadrani in the heart. That's why Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. When you do all this, automatically everything is even by hearing Bhagavatam regularly and by serving the pure devotees, all that is like, which is distress in our hearts will get cleared up. Krishna being situated within refers to the processes of smaranam, remembering. So because Krishna is inside our heart, so Krishna being situated within means refers to the process of smaranam, remembering. So because if you're thinking of Krishna, naturally Krishna is within us. That's what they're telling here. Okay. Thank you so much. Any doubts, I'll clarify. Otherwise, I'll will close. Thank you, all of you. I'm so happy. Hare Krishna,
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji's and Prabhuji's. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kritika Mataji, did you enjoy? Was it okay? Could you understand? You can unmute yourself and talk. Kritika Mataji, you can unmute and you can. Okay, no problem. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you all.